This is a quick review of a job we did for Hilcorp that was called into us on July 22nd of 2016 for the use of the 180K oscillator in Zapata, Texas. The customer had 5-inch casing, 18.7 pound per foot N80, and the top of that fish was at 2368 feet. There was a cut in the casing, a jet cut below that at 2368 feet, and a second cut at 2785 feet. So there was about 417 feet or so of casing that had to come out. They had previously tried casing jacks and pulled 300,000 pounds in excess of that and were unable to get that pipe out. So they gave us a call. And here we see a picture of the accelerometer right here. And the hose, this is just strictly a conduit that's flanged up and bolted to the side of the oscillator. We snaked out the accelerometer cable, wrapped it around a loop here as a strain relief. And let's see if I can, that's kind of what it looks like on the floor. And this is what it looks like way up in the air towards the end of this vibration job as we pull a full joint of pipe and then a sub. We were about 40 feet up into the air. You can see this little cable hanging down. Everything went very well. So let me start with the actual data acquisition. On the bottom, we have time, and you can see time versus amplitude and acceleration here. We had roughly sections when the oscillator was turned on, it was off, on, off. Here it's off, here it's on, and so on. And here on top is the spectrum analysis of each of this waveform as we're progressing. And when it's a nice clean signal, you'll see a nice spike here. And the noise floor, all this other frequencies, this is a plot from 0 hertz on up to, a couple hundred hertz actually, but I'm truncating it. The signal of interest is going to be around 13 hertz. And when we vibrate, we'll have a nice, good resonant pattern. And then as those cuts start to give way or the pipe starts to move, we start to break down the ability to resonate the pipe because the length of the pipe is changing in real time. And our VT supervisors have to keep locking in on that frequency. So let me start at 0. So we are right here in time. And let's run this for about 15 minutes real quick. And you see it's a nice resonant pattern. It's about 13 hertz. You can see the noise floor is very clean, very low. So the signal to noise ratio is very, very good. A lot of the signal is going down into the to the fish and back. So this is a perfect resonant pattern right now. This is the way things ought to be when we're sending energy downhole. So let me pause here real quick. This is where we are right now. We're right in the middle of this section, and we're about 5 minutes into the job. So I'm fast forwarding through 1 hour's worth of data. We pull tension, and as the fish starts to break down, we lose weight, and we can see right now a breakdown in the weight showing here that that resonance is being lost. And you'll see it here right now getting rattier. In other words, the noise floor starts to increase, and the signal, it's hard to lock into resonance. You'll see it here in a second when we completely lose the ability to resonate the pipe. And right there it happens. So let me stop it. And you can see that we've gone through about 15 minutes of this job right now. So let me fast forward to this section right here. And that is, somewhere in the 16-minute range. So we went ahead and had the brake handle operator pull more tension on the pipe so we can try to lock in and find some more resonance. And you can see right here, he's trying to do that right there. It's getting better. Now we just shut down the oscillator. And let's move it more. Let's get to this point here, which is 20 minutes into the job. And you can see he's getting a little bit more success trying to find a resonance, and the noise floor will eventually drop down, as you can see here. But things are starting to get loose downhole. Very visually obvious on the spectrum analysis what's going on. So here we're losing weight again, and we're right smack in the middle of this sequence. Let's go back and see where we're at. The weight is being lost. We're pulling up and lost, and so on. So this job is progressing fairly good. Let's move out to this section right out here, around the 30-something minute range. And these are all starts and stops, what you're looking at down here on the bottom. These are starts and stops of the oscillator because we kept losing weight. And you can see it by the rattiness of the spectrum. Let me get to here. This is about 37 minutes into the job. Look at the nice clean resonant pattern. The noise floor has gone down a lot. We had pulled probably 20 or 30,000 pounds over. Neutral was 74,000 pounds, and now we just lost the resonant capacity because the weight dropped off again. So neutral was about 74,000 pounds, and we ran a neutral in the beginning for about 10 minutes, and then we pulled 10,000 pounds, ran that for several minutes, and then we started to break down the confine, whatever was confining the casing. Those brakes just wouldn't give away, those jet cuts, and then finally, this is pretty much the end of the job right here. We're about 30 feet into the air. The oscillator has pulled out a full joint of pipe. So I'm going to stop the recording right here. This is just a good example of how the frequency meter allows us to see when we're in resonance and when we're not in resonance. In other words, when things are starting to change downhole, we have to seek another resonant frequency pattern.